Hey, welcome to Lucy's Kitchen. I'm Christy Benton. I'm one of the dietitians at the Live Well Center here in St. George, Utah. We've got a quick little meal for you today. We're going to do a bowl. I'm not going to call it a power bowl, but if you enjoy the fresh taste of a touch of spice, a little bit of quinoa brown rice on top of fresh greens, this is the bowl for you. We're going to start with a nice cooked shrimp with a touch of spice. Then we're going to be assembling a wonderful salad bowl. Again, a lot of these things you're going to have on hand. Most people these days have their salad greens on hand. I'm hoping you got your tomatoes, your cucumbers, whatever else you're going to put on the shrimp bowl. Certainly avocado, the ingredient of the, I swear, of the 21st century. This also is going to go on this bowl, but this is going to be a really tasty treat. Again, you can cook these shrimp ahead. We're going to be doing a hot bowl in this case, but if you were cooking a few too many, all you'd have to do is chill them. You'll have them ready for the next day for a chilled bowl. So we're going to get started by getting the stove going. All righty, there it goes. We're going to start with about a medium to high heat here because we're going to want to saute this shrimp. And of course, what we're going to use is the ever classic olive oil. Just a little bit in the pan to kind of get this heated up so we can pop this shrimp right into the pan. Now what we've got over here, this is a 21-25 count shrimp. This is a raw shrimp ready to go. It's been deveined, it's cleaned. We're going to mix up a little spice batter in the bowl, coat the shrimp, saute it, and then get it ready to go into our actual power bowl. So here again, our olive oil is going into the bowl. Not a lot. We don't want these to be greasy going into the pan because they're going to be sauteing in the olive oil. We've got measured out a couple of different spices over here, a couple of different peppers, cayenne and black pepper, ready to go right into the bowl. We have a touch of paprika, add a little bit of color and a little bit of flavor. And of course, another one of everybody's favorite is the minced garlic. Ah, yes. So we've got all that ready to go. We're going to go ahead and whisk that together. Turns a lovely color, so to speak. Not a whole lot in there. Oil is not quite there. So we're going to carefully add some of these shrimps right to the bowl. Charming little things that they are. Lucky for us, they were beheaded before they got to us. And we're going to go ahead and coat the shrimp with this olive oil spice mixture, just by kind of mixing it around. Not going to be a real heavy coating in here, just enough to impart a little bit of flavor to that shrimp. And then when we cook this, it's going to be a nice crust on these shrimp. So I'm thinking we've got room for one more. So it's kind of taken on kind of a reddish brown spice color. And short of putting my hand in there, we've got to wait a few moments to get that heat up to where we want it to be. I hate to put stuff in the pan and find it not sizzling. Then you got to pull it out and wait till it sizzles. So we're going to give it just another moment to get this heat up to snuff. And I've got more than enough oil in there to sizzle out these shrimps. So here we go. Let's see what happens with shrimp number 1. We're close. I've got liftoff. Let's get them in the pan. So it's not going to take long to cook shrimp. This is not a big chunk of meat. And as Jimmy Buffett used to say, the smell of shrimp beginning to boil. We've got the smell of shrimp beginning to saute. Because I like shrimp, we're doing the rest. So we're just going to pop these last 4 in here, get them into the pan. No sense wasting this little bit of ingredient here. And it looks like indeed we had just enough spice mix to get all the shrimp coated, so we're going to go ahead and get them into the pan. All right, so back on, I'm going to check this first one. Like I said, it does not take long to cook shrimp. We certainly don't want it par cooked. So if we're going to go ahead and start the cooking process, it needs to be done all the way through. These look good, so I'm hoping they taste as good. They're looking real tasty. Kind of scooting them around. I'm going to flip one over. That first one I popped in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and flip. It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. Cook. Smelling good. We're off to a good start. They're typical of shrimp, and they're doing exactly what cooked shrimps usually do, and that is they tend to shrink upon themselves and curl a little bit. So that's what they're doing. If you've seen the classic shrimp cocktails, these are not long shrimps. They always have a tendency to curl up on themselves. These are doing fantastic. Not quite done. And I suppose some of you used to hear that shrimp were full of cholesterol. Well, they are. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy them, however. We all know that it's not the cholesterol that you eat, it's what your body's making that seems to be the bug these days. So we are indeed going to enjoy these. Like I said, this was a 21-25 count shrimp, which means there's about 21 raw per pound. So that brings it on back that if you were looking at about a 4-ounce portion, you'd be getting about 4 to 5 shrimp, and that's about what we'll be looking at when we put these bowls together. They're turning a little bit white, which is what we want them to do. I'm going to do another quick turn on these. Got it. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Another moment or two. They're looking good. Looking real good. They're going to taste great on the salad, especially with that quinoa mix. It's got a touch of garlic in the quinoa mix. It's going to be a very tasty salad. All right. I'm going to flip this to off. Now, if I were not making a meal of this and I had folks coming over, I would put a frill toothpick in these and we would have a hot hors d'oeuvre ready to rock and roll with just maybe make a little dipping sauce for these. These look good enough to eat right now. So we're now going to assemble the shrimp avocado quinoa bowl. So come on over. Okay, hey, we're back. We're now going to put these bowls together. Again, thanks for joining us. So what we've got now, this is going to be a little bit of a different one. We're going to start with the bed of greens. We've used the spring mix with the spinach. You guys, here again, don't buy all these ingredients if you can't use it. Now, I know there are different blends out there. Grab a bag. You're going to use it up faster. Some folks are buying the heads of red, the curly oak leaf, the romaine. They're getting the iceberg, and they're finding that they can't use all that up. So there's some nice blends out there. Buy the bag or the package that fits your family. If you've got a big family, buy the heads, blend it up yourself. But we went ahead and bought the spring mix with the spinach. We're going to start with that as our base in the bowl here. Nice, fresh, and colorful. That's what I like about the spring mix. It's got the beautiful burgundy red with the green. And we are going to top that with some nice whole grain. Now this is, again, the quinoa with the brown rice. Again, if you've got a family, this was left over from Sunday dinner, just add it. If it's just brown rice, that's fine. Go ahead and add it. So we're going to add a little bit of crunch fiber, if you will, to our bowl right here. And we're going to jazz this bowl up. We've got some nice red onion. It does taste a little bit different than the traditional white or yellow onions. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of the onion. Here again, not an onion fan, don't use it. You don't have to. No one's going to twist your arm. So go ahead and add a little bit of flavor there with the onion. We went ahead and used the grape tomatoes in this case. These are great. You know, we used to be stuck with cherry tomatoes. Why they're named after fruit is beyond me. But now we've got the lovely grape tomatoes. We're just going to add these right to the bowl, right on top. So we've got a lovely little vegetarian bowl going on so far, but we are going to change that by adding these wonderful seasoned shrimp.
Perfectly seared. They look delicious.
Oh, great. We're just going to add 4, not a whole lot. And of course, the ever popular avocado slices right on the top.
Which we have the finished bowl product here as well.
And then to your liking, we're going to add a little bit of lime. We're going to add just a touch of sour cream. But you know, a lot of folks these days, a big popular talk is changing things to the plant-based intake. Lucy, how could we make this plant-based? What could we add to this to make it a plant-based intake?
So we could make this bowl virtually the same by using tofu. So you would want to get the extra firm tofu. You can slice it up into small chunks or slices, and then you could actually use the exact same seasonings and sear it the exact same way that you would the shrimp. And it would actually look very similar to what the shrimp looks like as well. And for those of you that haven't used tofu, which I was not a tofu fan prior to our cooking classes, but we've had some pretty good classes that we've used tofu in some of our dishes, and they've turned out very well. Especially the ones that I've liked have been the ones that we've seared, like this, that have some good flavor added to them. So that extra firm tofu would work out really nicely.
Yeah, and then tofu does tend to take on the flavors of whatever you're using. So if you threw the garlic oil in it, a garlic infused oil, and sauteed the tofu in a garlic infused oil, it's going to pick up that little bit of garlic flavor. So it's a great neutral one to start with, but it picks up the flavor. It's an interesting texture, but again, that plant-based, so good these days, so easy just to switch something out and make a wonderful bowl like this. Again, smaller bowl, maybe it's going to work for lunch. Larger bowl, maybe it's going to work for dinner. And again, these ingredients, things you've got on hand. Live from Lucy's Kitchen, we'll see you next time.